I'm Alex.
And I'm Teddy.
And we are
The Button Mappers.
Hey, the Button Mappers. I'm Teddy.
And I'm Alex.
And I'm Spencer.
Yo,
wait, did I just say that? What?
It's Spencer. What? This video doesn't say featuring the Itch Network. What the fuck's going on, guys?
What the fuck is going on here?
Oh my gosh. Call it a promotion. Guys, it's a party in the office. We got a new member of the team.
Spencer's not the janitor anymore.
No, I'm very honored. I've been brought into the Button Mappers crew. Thank you very much, guys. I can't wait.
Hell yeah.
You are the official channel co-host.
Thank you.
Yes. We no longer have to put 4 words in our video titles.
Yeah, this is more of a convenience for you guys, I'm sure.
well, I mean, if you're gonna keep coming on the channel, might as well.
Oh, yeah, it's great because I've been friends with you guys for like years and years, so it's nice to actually be a part of it with you guys now. This is so exciting. And I only hope that I can map out buttons in the same respectful manner and amazing grace that you guys have continued to do for this last year. So
maybe you can help to expand our joke catalog beyond the 2 that we have.
I plan not to. I'm keeping it well within the Clue Land and Columns range.
That's all we got.
I still like Arizona and green tea. I think those are classic.
I like that one.
If that's all you got out here in Arizona is green tea, then that's what I will sell.
The did you know jokes are pretty good.
Did you know Arizona's only famous for green tea?
And movies like Raising Arizona.
Instead of water, they have green tea coming out of their faucets.
Out of our cacti.
Cacti. Oh man. Okay, so let's get bumping, guys.
The first video that we ever did as a button mapper was a discourse, and it was intellectual. It was an intellectual discourse, and we're here to do this. I think Spencer, this is your first intellectual discourse with us on the button mappers.
I'm scared. I'm not an intellectual, so we'll see how this goes.
It's fine. Company is as company keeps.
Wait, we'll see how dis goes. Discourse.
Very intellectual, Alex.
Thank you.
I'm not high enough.
Yes.
Quality contribution there.
So we're kind of doing like a 2-part thing here. I guess today we're doing 2D platformers.
And next Monday, 3D.
Yeah, 3D platformers, and then we're doing a surprise thing with that at some point, I guess. Hopefully.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it, but let's just say some would do well to tell us which one is their favorite.
Yeah, give us your thoughts on each one in the comments of each one. 2D platformers, guys. What's your experience with 2D platformers?
Well, I grew up on them. That's the thing is I'm not the biggest fan of any platforming, but I also lived in a time when that was the main thing that video games were. Like when Mario was hot, and I mean, I guess he still is, but when Mario was like, when people were like, oh, I'm going to go play video games, they'd probably say, I'm going to go play Nintendo or I'm going to go play Mario.
Yeah.
At that time, like, platformers were everything. It was either that or arcade. So, like, when I was growing up, immediately my thoughts were, oh, we're going to play Mario where you run from left to right and jump over stuff. That's what video games were.
My first console was the N64. And I got the 3D games first. But that didn't mean I didn't experience 2D. I experienced, it was either Donkey Kong Land or like a Donkey Kong Country port. And I love that game. And that one always stuck with me throughout the ages. That's kind of the inspiration to the nickname Teddy Kong.
I'm kind of with you, Teddy, only my first platformer was Country on the SNES.
God bless you.
Yeah. So that's kind of where my love of the platformer genre started, and 2D platformers were a big deal.
What makes a 2D platformer to you?
Well, it has to be 2D. There has to be platforms. I'm just kidding.
It's a side scroller, right?
Yeah. It's hard to break down like so we should really break down like what makes a 2D platformer, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Well, one is the levels.
Level design, yeah. So so the basic example I guess would be like Mario, like the OG Mario, right? Like
Yeah,
like
the
that's like the
template.
most basic platformer you can have, right?
And I was thinking about this a lot, especially when thinking about transitioning from retro to modern, is we need to be careful because we can very, very easily encroach on like Metroidvania here.
Yeah, we're trying to like keep away
Yeah.
from that.
So we want to so I'm like, my favorite ones of today, I'm like Ori and the Blind Forest. Well, that's kind of a Metroidvania. It has like that in it, but it's not really the same thing.
How would you distinguish the platformer from the action adventure 2D side scroller?
You kind of hinted at it earlier. You said that there's levels.
Yeah,
I
level
think-
for level progression, right?
Yeah, I think having that level progression where you're not like backtracking or going to older locales where there is none of that, and less RPG elements maybe. I'm sure there's some, but limiting the RPG elements to a minimum.
I think
probably.
like the what really defines it, like what separates a 2D platformer from Metroidvania type game is like in a 2D platformer, like the courses themselves are the challenge.
Yeah,
And
that's a good point.
Yeah. In a Metroidvania game, yes, there is platforming and it's 2D, but like more than likely, it's the combat or other elements that are the challenge of the game. It's not the courses themselves.
I would think maybe it's like in a 2D platformer, you are the same character in the first level that you are in the 10th level. It's, as you said, the challenge comes from the level design itself, not your growth as a character.
I think at the heart of it, yeah. But I don't
I mean,
know.
you could obviously put some improvements in there, but I think generally that's
The
any
same
2D
same will hold
platformer.
true for some of those old school 2D action adventures, though. I mean, Dracula gets Simon Belmont gets the upgrades, across the level, but Mario also gets the Fire Flower.
But that's a per level thing.
Right,
you-
but I
like-
mean, it's the same for Castlevania.
So should we count that as a 2D platformer?
Because the levels are a hell of a challenge in Castlevania.
I guess you're right.
It's hard. I mean, there's
I think
That's
the
the
primary
challenge.
distinguishing point is that it's really about the jumping, maybe? The way that
Hmm.
you ascend across the level. But what makes Castlevania not a platformer?
The combat, maybe?
but that's where
It's tough.
but Mario's got combat. That's like the definitive
Yeah.
platformer.
Donkey Kong can roll.
And Donkey Kong has boss fights. I guess so is Mario, but they're like really jumpy boss fights. Yeah, it's tough.
Maybe
But
we should go with talking about like what are like maybe start with what are our favorite platformers, like offhand.
Donkey Kong Country 2
a good one.
Diddy's Conquest.
Yeah. What makes that one of your favorites?
I just spent so many hours playing it. I 99%ed it as a kid. Never figured out what the last part was. But I love swapping between the characters. I like the collectibles. And the graphics on a Super Nintendo look mind-blowingly great.
And that game has some challenge too.
Yeah.
It's tricky with its platforming. It's got it's got some really creative moments.
The
Yeah,
part where
yeah.
the barrels spin. They bring that back in Ukulele and the Impossible Lair, which
The part with I love the part with the honey on the walls, and like the bee areas where you have to like stick to the honey.
Yeah.
the music
Stuff
in
like
that
this.
game is fantastic. Jesus. I know that's not like supposed to be exclusive to platformers, but it
That
creates
sets
a
the
mood.
bar. That sets the bar pretty damn high for 2D platformers.
Yeah, I mean, honorable mention would be Super Mario World, but I did play that somewhat recently, and that game is very, very gimmicky. But we
Yeah.
can get into that later.
I'm gonna sound like
what
a
about you
broken
guys?
record here, but Ukulele and the Impossible Lair has just blown me away. I'm at the part where I'm about to get my first platinum trophy. I just got to beat the boss and purchase all the tonics, and then this game, and I still want to keep playing it. It's insane.
I really need to pick that game back up.
I hope you do, man. I hope you get or I know you're playing on a Switch, so you can't get the trophy, but I hope that you do, get into it. There's so many ways to enjoy it, and a big thing is the level variety. And I mean, you could talk about this with the Mario as well. From the second level, you're going underground, and I mean, it doesn't change up that much throughout the rest of the game, but you have those water segments. So, I mean, in one respect, yeah, it's a platformer where you have platforming challenge, but it's also kind of like an adventure, through the worlds. And we kind of talked about that with our Sonic stuff too. How each world is an adventure.
Sonic Adventure. Yeah. Not today. That's not a 2D platformer. Obviously, you're kind of expecting me to say Sonic, and my mind wants to say Sonic. But when it comes to 2D platformers, I think like one of my favorite 2D platformers of all time, or actually two of them, I'm gonna like lump them together, is the Rayman Origins and the Rayman Legends games. Those games are fan-fucking-tastic.
Yeah, they've got a pretty high pedigree.
Yeah, they're challenging. Each area is really distinct. Just like very creative. I don't know. It's just like playing those games and then playing other 2D platformers. Like you could tell they really they got it with that game.
Yeah.
With the Rayman Origins and I guess Legends. To some extent.
Well, hey man, it's Rayman.
So I don't know. It's hard to like break down an entire genre. This is the first time we've ever done a genre discourse.
Well, where do you think? Do you think it started with Mario, or or are we gonna go back to Atari and look at?
I mean, we could like what Pitfall?
Pitfall, yeah.
I mean, yeah. We could start with that. But like, what popularized it was definitely Mario.
Yeah.
Mario Bros. NES. Super Mario Bros. Sorry, on NES.
Clue Land on NES.
Clue Land on NES definitely did not popularize anything.
Just the show.
It was a launch title.
But Mario Bros. It was creative. It really the world's I guess told a story in a sense, and you really felt like you were on some big adventure. There was challenging platforming, new and creative power-ups for the time. The whole Fire Flower, even even growing from small Mario to big Mario. That's at the time, that's really freaking cool.
Yeah.
There's hidden stages, a bunch of coins to collect.
And I think Mario really it introduced that concept of momentum that wasn't really a part of gaming yet. But where you run and you pick up some speed, however subtle,
that game feels good to play. Mario 1's my favorite.
But as Spencer's saying, Mario 3, that Tanuki suit, that's a fun moment when you first get the Tanuki suit flying.
Yeah.
Mario's always been very imaginative, and I think you need that with a platformer. Pitfall's cool, but seeing the colors of a Mario game and seeing the different ways you can be him and different levels and different backgrounds and stuff, you need that for a 2D platformer.
Okay. I have an idea. And I guess since I'm editing this video, I'll put it up on screen. Let's make a list. What do you need for a 2D platformer?
Okay.
Right? So, 1.
Platforms.
Platforming challenge, right?
Damn, you took the easy one.
Platforming challenge, definitely.
Oh, I'll do the other easy one. 2D.
Doesn't count.
You need
power-ups. You already said power-ups.
Power-ups, okay.
Creative power-ups, things that change the gameplay up, right?
A water level.
Ooh,
a water level. I don't know if you need that, but yeah, okay.
I'm gonna argue the other way with that. Water levels are always my worst, least favorite levels. Okay, I'm gonna put a weird one in here, but physics/gravity.
Yeah, it's got a well. Let's put that in I guess game feel maybe, or gameplay. It has to it has to feel good to play. Yeah.
Sort of, but I like it when they every jump or every action has a certain weight to it. And like nowadays, I don't think you could do a platformer that doesn't have like wind in some form or even reversal of gravity where you can go like up. Like they all seem to have that, so I would put gravity in there as a
It's
big
almost
gameplay
like the
mechanic.
flow, your character flow.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. What else?
Attitude.
Attitude.
A bitchin' soundtrack.
A bitchin' soundtrack, yeah. A bitchin' soundtrack, which a lot of time can contribute to the game's overall tone. Makes you want to, if you're playing a 2D platformer and there's no music and stuff, it's just like, like your little pitter patter of your feet. It's not very exciting. Like you need good music.
Yeah. All right.
I think you need a good concept for the levels.
Can you go into more detail?
No.
A good theme.
Maybe look back at some of our map outs for that.
I'm just thinking, like, even with country, how it's like when you're running over the treetops and like the rain is falling. I guess that everything is kind of distinct and aligned in some way.
Because you don't want to look like you're literally doing the same thing over and over again, because you kind of are in a platformer. It just like escalates in difficulty, but you want it to be like, oh, this was like the water level, or this was like the mountain level, or this was, make them distinguished enough that it feels different. This was the Clue Clue level.
Ew. This was the column.
I broke the game's code. I unlocked the Clue Clue level.
What about difficulty?
Escalating.
Think about the difference between playing something like Country or Country 2 and playing something like Kirby.
I mean, I don't see difficulty as a necessity. I think games, especially nowadays, they weren't so much back then, although Kirby is a very good counter-argument to that.
I like Kirby. I mean, I'm wearing a Kirby t-shirt right now. See? So.
Look at you go. I'm surprised you don't, whatever. But I almost think that today now, that the really easy game part is kind of celebrated, which I guess is cool. It wasn't like that when I was a kid, but easy games are celebrated as like, well, that's a game that I could pick up and play and beat in a couple hours, and that's it. So I don't know if difficulty is necessarily a requirement, but I would agree with Teddy that escalating at least would be required.
Okay. Yeah, escalating difficulty, right? You start out, easy or I guess on normal, and then eventually, like you don't want the last stage to be easy, and then the stages in the middle to be suck, like fucking Sonic 1.
I think you need
Right.
a unique gameplay mechanic, and I don't want to sound generic with that, but like almost like your signature character move.
What's some of your favorite examples?
Well, I just think to the classics: the Sonic Spin Dash, the Donkey Kong Roll.
Dixie Kong spinning her hair.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I said Kirby was easy, Kirby has the whole copy mechanic, right?
And he floats.
And that really changes up how you play the game.
You can't like fall in a pit unless you really fucking suck.
Spencer.
Why are you falling, Kirby? Get back up.
Get back up, Kirby.
Come on.
Fly, Kirby,
This
fly.
is the part of the game where I'm really insulted because I fell in the pit.
I couldn't beat Kirby on Game Boy. It's too hard.
Yeah.
I think we got a pretty good list. I mean, I don't remember what all they were, but like the elements. What about like collectibles, like coins,
Oh,
rings,
you need collectibles.
stars, whatever.
Pointless
like,
collectibles.
Yeah, pointless collectibles, and like to get 1-ups and lives. I know lives are kind of irrelevant now. We don't really have lives in like a lot of modern platformers.
But they were very important in those 16-bit ones. Jesus.
Oh yeah.
You could
So-
game over.
So getting those collectibles really gets you the 1-ups you need.
What do you think? Do you think modern games should have lives or not?
I don't know, because I think now those pointless collectibles in modern games are more meant to for like the completionist, you know,
Yeah.
for like setting a challenge, you know, like, oh, can you get all the things in each stage, and can you know find the hidden thing and whatever.
Yeah.
I love, and Alex, you talked to me about this once, but the ways that you can enjoy a game, like you can enjoy sitting down and trying to find everything and exploring it, or you can really try and speed run through it. You know, I think ukulele, I just have so many ways, like I'm brainstorming to try and challenge myself through that game, you know, to enjoy it, like try and like use some of the tonics to like create artificial speed runs. There's 62 tonics. It's crazy. You know, you could set yourself challenges like, you know, no checkpoints, or you know, Yuka rolls faster. And I think being able to like enjoy that speed running element is kind of signature to the platforming genre. It's a big community.
It is. I know that's one, like, my goal when I play Country, because I played that game so many times. Like, I could beat that game in like under an hour, you know. So like my thing every time I play that game now is just to see how quickly I can do it. Like, can I find all the secrets? Can I find all the shortcuts? You know.
I think I know it wasn't, but I feel like to me Mario 3 was the first game I even heard about speedrunning for. And then that whole world kind of opened
Talking about like
up.
the warp thing. Oh, well, I guess Mario 1 had it too with the little warp pipes, right?
Yeah, yeah. But I never even heard people doing speed runs of games until I heard someone was like, "Did someone beat Mario 3 in like what, 3 minutes or
Jesus.
14 minutes or 14 minutes? I don't remember, but some stupid like low number." And that's when all that kind of opened up to me.
I know you could beat Mario World super fast because there's like a bunch of secret exits and stuff, and you can go to the castle like super early.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I think you can beat Clu Clu Land pretty fast if you just try it.
I don't know if you can beat Cuckoo Land.
I think you just throw it away.
That's how you beat it.
Yeah.
you
Ta-da, credits roll.
You just throw it in the trash.
Yeah, yeah.
You finally beat the game.
Congratulations.
What about, I know, Teddy, you said ukulele, so I guess it wouldn't apply for you, but Spencer, what about modern platformers? Can you think of anything off the top of your head that's like within the last like 5-6 years that you've enjoyed?
No.
No?
They all bleed into other genres, and it's really.
You know what I'm
hard.
gonna say?
What?
Motherfucking Shovel Knight. I love Shovel Knight.
Would you consider? I mean, yeah, I guess it is. Yeah.
It's a 2D platformer.
100%. He uses the shovel as his gimmick.
It's such a good throwback platformer game with new creative elements. You know.
In that vein, would you consider Mega Man a 2D platformer?
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah,
you should.
definitely. Yeah, it's a course per course game. It's it's a platformer. I mean, there's like shooting elements, yes, but it's a 2D platformer.
Same with Kirby.
Yeah.
Almost every Kirby has a spaceship shooter section.
Yeah. Rocket Knight Adventures has a you know kind of a shooter game almost.
Kingdom
Yeah.
Hearts.
That's not a. I don't think. I don't know. I think we kind of gotten off track there.
It's like platformers just synonymous with action.
Yeah. Like, I think of platformers I've played within the last, like, 5 years. I think of Shovel Knight. I think of Super Meat Boy. Fucking that game's great. I love Super Meat Boy.
Oh yeah, Super Meat Boy's great.
It's hard, but, man, it is good. It's got a bitchin' soundtrack. It is stylized to all hell. It is so fun.
That would be my pick for modern platformer. What about
Played.
Braid? Isn't that
Braid.
what it's
Yeah, I hadn't played that one.
called? Me neither, but I heard it was like a legit great game.
SteamWorld Dig, which I guess you could argue is a Metroidvania almost.
But doesn't it make sense to call Metroid/Super Metroid a 2D platformer?
It does, yeah. It's kind
it
of
has it.
it's hard to argue, but like between the difference, you know.
There's a shit ton of platforms. That's the most platformy game out there.
Because if we're going that way, I would say like Ori and the Blind Forest.
It's a great game.
It's freaking great.
Yeah. So
I think modern day, you kind of with a lot of them, you either go like really really retro with it, and go for like that 16-bit, almost sometimes even 8-bit look,
yeah.
or you go 3D 2D, like combine them.
2.5.
Yeah,
There you
2.5.
go.
That's
D.
the Kirby and the Shattered Crystals N64.
I love that game.
Yeah,
I
I'm a fan.
don't.
I had so much fun with it as a kid.
Kirby moves so damn slow in that game. I can't do it.
I just love combining power-ups, though. No other
That
Kirby
that is a
game
cool
does that.
mechanic. That is a very cool mechanic.
Yeah, I was
But-
into that.
Kirby's movement.
That sold the
speed.
whole thing for me. I didn't care about anything else. I just wanted to know. And I think I was so stupid. I was always surprised by what the result was, even if I've done it like 500 times.
That
sword.
that wasn't my 2D platformer on N64. My 2D platformer was Yoshi's Story. I fucking love Yoshi's Story.
Have you played the new ones?
Yeah, I have, and they're good. Yoshi Crafted World is pretty good. Yoshi's Woolly World is pretty good. Yeah, Woolly. Yoshi's- Yoshi's Woolly. I see an example of a great modern 2D platformer right behind your head, Spencer.
Persona.
No,
Persona Q?
no. I'll give you a hint. It's yellow.
Pokemon Yellow.
Talking
That's-
Super Mario Maker?
Yeah, that's fucking nuts, dude. Mario
I
Maker?
think it's an example of how people are really bad at making levels.
That's, I mean, yeah, that's gonna happen with any creation tool. But you play some of the good stuff on Mario Maker games, and like it's crazy. Like the very simple Mario tool set, what people can come up with.
I think my problem with it is that the only popular stuff to come out of that are people making those like impossible things.
Yeah,
Or those like, and I think this transitions to a question I had. There's like very stylish levels where it's like it pretty much does the whole level for you just by triggering an action.
Yeah. Otherwise known as Sonic.
or like an auto runner, you know, kind of like Bit Trip or something.
I was gonna ask because you said Yoshi, and I know that some of the flack that those newer Yoshi games have gotten is that they're style over substance. What do you think qualifies as substance in a 2D platformer?
Okay, so the first fun, like the first factor you should definitely take into consideration is fun. That's probably the most important factor to any game, you know, is the amount of fun, right? Other than that, substance-wise, it's a toss-up between I guess like the completion goal, you know, like how much is there to do? Because I know like Yoshi's Crafted World, that game's good. It's pretty simple, it's pretty easy, but there's a lot to do. Like there's a lot to find. To complete that game, you have to go back through the levels like multiple times in different ways in order to find different objects and stuff. So it adds a lot to the game. That's a game that like there for a while I was trying to like 100% like do, but it's so there's just like so much, you know.
Spencer?
Substance was Spencer.
I think physics is a big part of it. Paying close attention to that and having that matter in the levels. And a respected challenge, I would argue for. So you're challenged, but you're also rewarded for it. Maybe by a cool boss fight, a memorable boss fight, a cool locale, whatever. But you just feel rewarded for being challenged. So you have to also be challenged in it. To me, that's substance equals a little bit more of a challenge.
Daddy?
He took the answer I was going to say. I was going to like kind of lean back on the challenge. On that note, I was wondering because, we talked about Country and Country 2, but we haven't talked about Country 3. And I know...
Chirp.
I know some people are not fans of the game. I personally haven't played much of it. But I remember it being underwhelming by comparison to Country 1 and 2. What are some of the worst platformers you have played, and why do you think they're not good?
I want to say Bubsy, but that's just because like it's Bubsy, you know. But like that game's not good because it tries to do things that popular platformers like Mario and Sonic do, but it gets everything wrong. Like for one, like the camera is terrible. You can't see what's coming ahead of you. You move way too fast. The physics feel off. Whenever you fall, you take fall damage, which makes no sense for a platformer like that. You know, it's just like there's no direction like in the levels. I can't tell where the fuck I'm going when I play it. It's bad.
Ooh.
If you say Sonic, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Can I make a case against Sonic though?
Okay, for sure.
A lot of those levels, and I'm not saying the whole level, I'm not saying the whole thing, but a lot of those levels are like Mario Maker levels where they just do it for you and it looks really flashy.
What?
You know, where you
What does
bounce
that mean?
around from one thing to the next, ding 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 ding,
Oh.
a bunch of things, and then you come out. It's like I've seen levels of that game. Where
Yeah,
it's
but
like,
you just argued about Country, and they have the same thing where you pop through the barrels and stuff, and the level does
Some
it
of
for
it.
you, right? Yeah,
Some of it.
exactly.
not to the same amount though. Not to the same extent that Sonic does it.
I mean, I see where you're coming from in that, like, yeah, if you just run and through the levels, like some of them, it'll pretty much coast. But I think that if you look into it, like with a lot of the levels, there's just a lot of portions where that happens, and you have to
Right.
exploit it well. Because if you suddenly jump, you screw up your whole momentum. You know, like we were talking about Hydro City in Sonic 3.
Yeah.
Hydrocity, I don't know the name. It's one of those.
Hydrocity.
Yeah. And I love those segments where you're running on the water, but, you know, don't stop running, you know? And once you get out of that segment, you still have to be mindful of the platforming.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't played Sonic enough to give it that bad a review, so I'm not going to tell you it's the worst one. But I will say Sonic is the worst one. But I'm trying to think of one that's specifically bad, because I know that as a kid I rented a bunch of games from like Blockbuster. Kids, you remember Blockbuster?
Hell yeah, I love Blockbuster. Print out my Pokemon Snap pictures.
Yeah. It was a thing, and you didn't really know back then, because there's no internet, like what you're getting, so you're just kind of basing off the picture. And so I picked up a lot of bad platformers. And I think there was one, like Jurassic Park one, and I think it was a Lost World that was really bad. But there were also a ton of like licensed platformers on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, I have We're Back, a Dinosaur Story. And I used to play that all the time, and it's not very good.
Yeah, they were super bad. There were some. I think there was even the Cheeto Man. The Cheeto.
Yeah. Oh, Teddy knows one. That's pretty great. Teddy,
Oh.
Teddy, you know what I'm thinking of?
Can you give me a hint?
It's pink.
Does he go somewhere?
Goes to Hollywood.
What? Pink Panda?
Yeah.
It's a licensed game we never played, and we were going to do a video on it way back in the day. We were just like comparing games that we owned, and he owned the Super Nintendo version, I owned the Genesis version. I forget the joke that we made though.
I don't know. It was just funny because Pink went to Hollywood. I don't know. It was, you know how those jokes go.
Yeah. We never turned that into anything though, not like Clue Clue Land.
Do you remember? This one might have aged poorly. I don't remember, but remember Gex?
I like Gex.
Is that 2D or 3D?
The first one's 2D.
Okay.
Yeah, there's two different
The
ones.
sequel, yeah, the two sequels are 3D.
Oh, there's two sequels.
Yeah, there's a second one and a third one.
Oh, I only know about the first.
Um,
The first sequel.
what about you, Teddy? Can you think of any, like, what are some bad 2D platformers and why?
I don't play bad games, but aside from that, and it's gonna sound crazy. It sounds crazy, but I just platformed. No, I'm joking. Donkey Kong Country Returns on the 3DS, and I haven't played the Wii one, but I finished Returns. But my thing about it, it's not necessarily a bad game, but it's particularly bad for its system, because the 3DS, with the way it's configured, your D-pad is like in the bottom left of the console, and you know you have the buttons in the upper right corner, so you have to use a control stick, and it just doesn't work for 2D. It doesn't work very well. So I'm almost interested to go back and retry it, but at the same time, like, experience the game with like the Wii gimmick, I'm not like that interested. And with Returns as well, you know, just by comparison to the lore of Donkey Kong Country, not that like I know it, but I know the Kremlings, you know, they're classic Donkey Kong villains, you know, K. Rool. Those Tiki guys are not. They're just that's a modern gaming thing. It's like, oh, let's just give these like let's make Tiki's the villain and make them like, you know, have eyes. I don't know. Maybe that's a Banjo thing too. But.
I love Returns. I mean, I can see your argument with the 3DS version with the controls, but I played both versions all the way through, and I still think that game's great.
I mean, the whole game is designed around being like a crazy return for Donkey Kong, and also stylish. You know, it has a lot of style segments, but you know, I remember stages. I remember this one where like the water's crashing in from the background, and like it's like this giant kraken or something, which is pretty cool. But thematically, I don't think it holds up to the old school ones, and yeah, just that level of control isn't offered to you for the types of platforming that you have to do. And I never thought of Country as like the super crazy platforming game. Like, yeah, it has hard platforming levels, but it's not like designed around insanity.
I'd be tempted to argue with the Returns argument, but we'll save that for another day.
Can I say an overrated one?
Well, I was gonna do one request.
Oh, go for it.
Because I said Bubsy, and that's an easy one. But one that really offends me personally, Mega Man 7. I can't stand Mega Man 7. It's like the classic game for the Super Nintendo, and the problem is that they made the sprites too big. And I never feel like I'm gonna make my jumps, and it feels very claustrophobic. And I cannot play that game for shit. And I love the classic Mega Man games.
I hate the way Mega Man controls. He's so heavy, and then like he's slippery.
You can get used to it in the NES games and stuff, and even some of the later games.
I've beaten 1 and 2, and I'm not tempted to replay either or to.
Well, 7
more of them.
7's like, imagine that only if Mega Man was like 15 pixels bigger, and like he can jump and touch the ceiling. Like it feels awful. You know, like I just feel very cramped playing that game, and I hate it. Spencer, go ahead.
Okay, I wanted to say, and I hinted at it earlier, but I think an overrated platformer is probably, bless you, Super Mario World.
Bless you. What system is that for?
Yeah, bless you.
It's for the Blessed 64.
Blessed 64.
It's Blessed Core Processor.
Hashtag Blessed 64.
I think Super Mario World is very overrated. I've seen it on people's like top something lists or whatever. I would not put it there on my last playthrough that I did of it. It was like the middle of the game, the middle chunk of the game felt like somebody just did Super Mario Maker on it, because it was just a bunch of gimmicky spins and stuff you had to jump through. Like, I think another part of that we sort of touched on but didn't with what makes a 2D platformer great, or what you need, is a realistic, I'm gonna use it, careful, aesthetic.
Gasp. Woman drops her baby. Quick, catch.
Because having good graphics is great and all, and having a good background is really cool, but if your area looks like it was just designed to be a jumping platform game, then it's not very interesting.
You know what though? I wouldn't say Mario World is overrated compared to my example here. We're talking about 2D platformers, and I find it interesting that none of us has brought up the new Super Mario Bros. Game.
Dude, you took my answer.
Because fuck those games.
I hate that first one. That one's so overrated. People love that game.
All 4 of those fucking games like feel so copy and pasted. You know, they just feel like the most basic platformer shit in the world. Like,
yeah, I don't like that first one. I've played it twice, I think, and I was just very underwhelmed by the end of it.
I've played all 4 of them, and like, yeah, like while you're playing it, like you can get a little bit of enjoyment out of it because it's a Mario platformer, but it's the most basic copy and pasted, like, safe shit. You know, like it's not very good.
I played a little bit of the first one, but didn't get into it. So
Yeah, and they pumped 4 of those things out like within the span of like 5 years.
They did better on the frickin' Game Boy. Have you guys played that Super Mario
The Land?
Land 2?
Yeah,
I
Land
think,
2
with
is
the golden
great.
coins.
Land 2 is fantastic.
I love that one.
Never played him on the Game Boy.
Pretty good. Wario Land's pretty good too.
Wario Land is pretty good. I don't know if I like it as much.
It's weird, but Wario's weird, so that's okay.
Wario's Woods.
Yeah. Any more overrated games?
I'm sure there's some I can't think of right now.
I think this is a good time to ask the viewers. Viewers at home,
Is
let
it
us
worth
know.
it?
What are your most favorite, least favorite, most overrated platformers, and what's a key term you would use to describe what makes a platformer?
Is it worth it?
You can answer that one too.
Anybody play Celeste?
I have not played Celeste yet.
Played Owlboy.
Is that good?
It's okay.
Okay.
Do you know what the gimmick is?
You're an owl boy.
Yes. You're an Owlboy.
Is it like a Kirby kind of gimmick where you can flap your wings and fly around?
Yeah. It's pretty challenging though. It's pretty big. Some might call it a
Banjo
Metroidvania.
3E. Oh, sorry. You
That's
guys-
on other parts of the internet.
Have you guys played the Monster Boy, or sorry, not Monster Boy, but the Wonder Boy, like
Dragons?
Trap remake?
No, I'm aware of it though.
That game's great. The game's not overrated. I just wanted to bring it up.
Have you played
Have you
Kirby's
played?
Adventure for the Game Boy?
On this
Have
this
you
episode,
played
have you played?
Mutant Muds?
I was just trying to look up. I was looking up the top rated 2D platformers, and I noticed we hadn't spoken of Celeste yet. There's a couple in here, but to me,
well, hold on. I want to see what they are now that you bring that up.
and it's not a ranking. It's just a Google search.
Okay.
And it just gives you what what shows up a lot. Yeah, I mean we got Shantae we didn't talk about. I didn't really play that too much.
They're okay.
They always seem like very generic platformers.
I tried to get into them. I played a little bit of the first one and the second one, and I don't know. I just couldn't get into them as much as I wanted to.
I think it's weird because the indie scene splurges with like these kind of platformers. I personally don't think much of the Shantae games either, and I see them put on such a pedestal.
Yeah.
I think
What-
it's
what-
just the gimmick is like it's a girl and her hair thing. I don't.
She's a belly dancer or something.
2 questions. What is the hardest platformer you've ever played?
Super Meat Boy.
And was it worth it?
Yes.
And that's almost as serious. Was it worth it? Because sometimes they're challenging and they're not worth it.
I'm still gonna say.
Quit.
I'm still gonna say Super Meat Boy.
Super Meat Boy.
That game's fucking hard, dude. But it's so good. Like,
Mine may have been Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah. Oh, those Shinobi games, are those platformers? I don't know.
no, you don't really do a lot of platforming. It's mainly
You
like,
do though in
You
Revenge.
jump, yes, but you mainly walk and slice and throw shurikens. I don't think it's a lot of platforming in that.
Yeah. Oh, so the most difficult one I ever played or beat?
Just played. Because maybe you gave up on it.
Is that game we did in the Game Talk? Is that Slain game?
Kirby on Game Boy. I'm just kidding. Slain. Slain.
Kirby Nightmare.
Was it
Dreaming.
Slain?
Yeah, I got Slain.
Slain.
What made it not worth it?
Everything.
Oh.
You couldn't get past this damn spike or these little guys. They fucking sucked.
Slain.
Would you consider a platforming game also like a side scroller that's more of like a story-ish kind of game?
Like what? Give me an example.
I'm specifically, oh my god, what was that black and white game? Oh, now I'm a jerk because I don't remember.
Pokemon.
How about this one? Grease. Any of you guys ever played Grease?
Oh no, I know what it is though.
I played it. It lasts like 4 hours, and it's more of like you walking through a painting. In the puzzle, there's slight puzzle elements, there's platforming elements, but it's very, very simple.
Well, I guess.
Maybe that'd be more of the visual instead
Yeah,
of
I don't know.
the substance.
indie games can kind of like trickle that line, you know.
Yeah.
Except for SteamWorld Dig 2. Go buy SteamWorld Dig 2. That game's fucking great.
Okay.
Especially just leaves and buys it. Okay.
I gotta go to the store.
Okay, bye. See you guys later. I gotta go to the store. Ooh. I know one for the worst ones I've ever played.
What's that?
It's mighty, and there's a number, and that number is 9.
Oh. I never played it. I heard it was pretty bad though.
Yeah, it is. Chirp chirp.
Well, that's a bummer.
All right, guys. I don't know how to wrap this thing up. I don't know how you guys want to wrap this thing up.
In the second dimension, there was a time and space, and the platforms exist. This was an intellectual discourse on 2D platformers. I hope you've enjoyed it. Once again, we took pride in honoring and our newest member, Spencer. Woohoo! Woo! It's good to have you on as an official co-host.
I won't let you down,
Bruce?
What do you call just mappers? Is that what we call everybody that listens?
Mappers and mapheads.
In every channel, you have to have names for the people that watch.
What do you call them on the Itch Network?
We call them Itchinites, but half of the Itch Network does not want people to be called that, so we don't market it that way. But I call them Itchinites.
With
What you call
majority, I'd say, "What's up, majority? It's majority."
Do you know what I say on Turbo Zone?
Turbo Zone.
Oh, it was Geeks and Gamers.
Geeks and Gamers. That's freaking frack.
No. That's Turbo Zone. I do a Turbo Zone.
But you took that from freaking frack. and then
Yeah.
applied it to
Well,
Turbo
I
Zone.
kind of transferred over.
Uh,
From when I used to do on Turbo Zone. Oh, sorry.
fellow
on
mappers and mapettes.
Yeah, mappers, mapettes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's thought in progress.
Look, there's 2 genders. Okay, there's clue and columns. Pick your poison.
Yeah. You can go fluidly between the two, but you always suck.
That's a great note to go out on. Just remember that always. You always suck.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. I love you, viewers. Thanks for
No,
viewing.
of course. Bye.
Bye, mappers.
That's your sign off, Spencer? Wow, that was weak. You get a weak
Oh.
sign off game.
Signing off. It's Spencer from The Button
should-
Mappers.
Mappers.
I hit my desk. Should we do like a sign off? This is Alex.
And I'm Teddy.
And I'm Spencer.
Thanks for
And
watching
we are
the Button Mappers. Don't forget to
I
ring
thought you were
that.
gonna say it. In
Don't forget to
unison.
ring that subscribe bell and notify our Patreon and
Give a 1-up to that subscribe button.
tweet our Facebook and do whatever else you need to do.
Jump on that like button.
Jump on the like button. Comment.
Spin dash that comment section.
Boing! That was me jumping. That was me jumping out of the discourse.
Hey y'all, don't forget to subscribe to them Button Mappers.